Hey ladies, in today's episode, I'm going to answer the question, how does meditation reduce stress, help you to overcome anxiety, or help you to eliminate depression once and for all? And I'm going to teach you how to do it. Let's go get that nugget. Welcome, ladies, to the Life Mastery for Women podcast. I'm Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind, your host. This is where we go to learn to master our life one nugget at a time. Dealing with stress, anxiety, and depression is absolutely 100% no fun. And it is slowly killing you. Like, really, you will die from depression, anxiety, and stress because the body can't handle it. It can't handle it for long periods of time. So in today's episode, I want to talk about how does meditation reduce these emotions and help you to start feeling peace, harmony, and happiness. Welcome, ladies, to today's episode where we're going to go get that nugget of inspiration towards your transformation on how we can overcome these emotions. Because I don't know about you, but I would not want to deal with that for very long. And I would want to overcome it as fast as possible. So these emotions, if they are felt and harnessed in the body for long periods of time, the body starts to deteriorate. It starts to become diseased. We are meant to be in the flow of life, but our subconscious mind keeps us in this survival rate that keeps us in this survival space that says, don't do that, you're going to die. And so we're built on this computer program, if you will, of fear. And so if we let that fear overcome us and our true potential, we are making our body sick by living in those negative emotions. I'm sorry to be so morbid, but I really want to punch this point because I think it's really important that if you are dealing with stress and anxiety and depression for long periods of time, it's not going to take long before you're going to start feeling the effects of it on your physical body. If you aren't already, and there isn't going to be a crystal in the world that is going to help you balance that chakra, that is going to help you to overcome those emotions if you don't do something more. Now, those are negative emotions making your body sick. Now, take a look at the world. We are a world living on medication. We are a world numbing ourselves through TV, video games, medication, and other numbing activities that are preventing us from living our true lives. Because what does medication do? Though there is a time and place for it, it just doesn't need to be every time and every place, right? We have a hard emotion and we immediately go, I'm going to my doctor to numb this out. I'm drinking, I'm gambling, I'm having sex, I am using medication, I am playing video games, I am watching TV to numb our emotions, to numb them out. The body is meant to feel. Our body is meant to move. And we live now in a society that doesn't do that. And I ask you, are you one of those people? In the last episode, we talked about how living in and tapping into our potential and our power. And the very first step is to become aware. So the very first step for you is to say, am I doing that? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with video games, or TV or doing some other mind numbing activities, but are you doing it for a majority of your day? Are you doing it when you have an uncomfortable emotion? Is that what you reach for instead of feeling through that emotion? They're uncomfortable for a reason. Once we feel through them and we release them, we now are elevated. Just like in the example I gave in the last episode. If you haven't gone to listen to it, go check it out. But it is about cutting away the sandbag and elevating ourselves. Do you notice that same emotion, no matter the medication, no matter the amount of video games, the amount of Netflix that you're watching, that emotion keeps coming back and you keep reliving it? That's why. Emotions are energy in motion. It's meant to be felt. What's the solution? Is to know that it's possible to overcome that. Anxiety, depression, and stress, they're all emotions based on our external environment, which is why I start with a lot of my podcasts, if I remember to do it, is to call back our energy, to be present in this moment. Call back all the energy that we have out there trying to solve problems and overcome doubt and to overcome worry. Call that energy back into our body, be present in our body, and be present and mindful in this moment right now. And then connect to source energy to allow any emotions to come up and overcome those emotions, those negative emotions. So understanding the solution is to know that it's possible, to know that you have the power within you to overcome any and all of those emotions. Feel all the way through it. You ever had a really big cry over something or someone, a breakup, a loss of some kind, and you have this really big cry, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, I kind of feel better. Like, I didn't think I was ever going to stop crying. And I'm up and moving now, and it feels good because you moved that energy out. Same as you take a 20-ounce bottle of Coke and you shake it up and it builds all this pressure inside, and then you don't let that pressure out. How long does it take for that pressure to continue to expand? How long does it take for that pressure to release if you don't take the cap off? It stays in there, right? What is that doing to your body? You take the lid off, boom, all that Coca-Cola starts spilling out all over the place, spraying all over, and it's a big mess for a minute, right? And then it's done. And then it's gone. And then now whatever's left, let's say you took out, 2 inches of that, the Coca-Cola, the Coke is all over the ceiling, all over the place, all over whatever. And now you could put something else in there, something that feels a little bit better. You shake it up and you spray it out again. You put something else that's a little bit better in there. That's the power of energy work. You release the anger and you bring in something that feels better. It's a wonderful experience. The next step is to believe in yourself. To believe in yourself. First, you have to know it's possible. And the next step is to believe in yourself. Believe that it's possible for you. You have what it takes. You do. You might not be in practice. You might not do it consistently, but you do have the potential. We all have it in our system. We are all born with it. Doesn't matter the religion, doesn't matter when you were born, doesn't matter what era, doesn't matter what family, doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter your body type, your hair color. It doesn't matter. What matters is you believe in yourself that you can do it. And if any of those other beliefs that don't serve you, get rid of them. Release them. I release this belief, and I'm going to bring in something that's a little bit more confident. The next step is being consistent with yourself, consistent with the practice, going inward, becoming aware, breathing in, meditating every single day, every day. And if you miss a day, it's okay. Don't skip it. Don't not do it. Don't blame meditation. Just keep doing it. Think if you were going to learn a new sport. You're going to learn a new sport and you decide, let's say it's tennis. I want to learn to be Serena Williams. I'm going to practice tennis every single day, and you miss a day. Okay, it's not a big deal. But if you don't start, you're never going to get good at tennis. You're never going to truly overcome anxiety, depression, and stress. Never. You're always going to have it. And eventually it will kill you. It will make you feel worse. Your body's going to be worse. You're going to have, first you start with the poor emotional state. You just feel terrible. You don't want to do the things that you want to do. Sometimes you come out of it and you're like, okay, yeah, let's go for a walk, or let's go do this thing that I used to love. And then pretty soon you stop doing those things that you used to love. Then you start to feel aches and pains in your body. Your knees don't feel very good. Your back doesn't feel very good. It goes even further and you get high blood pressure, you get heart disease, you get diabetes, you gain weight, and it gets worse and worse. You get a knee replacement. Your ankles hurt, right? It just keeps going and going and going and going and going and going until eventually you are full of dis-ease. And I don't want that to happen. Awareness, having the awareness, knowing that it's possible for you to overcome it. Medication isn't the answer. Medication can be a short-term answer, but it's not the only answer. It is not the only answer. You have the power within. Believing in yourself. Then the next is to be consistent. At least 70% of your emotional state should be a positive emotion. What are your top 3 emotions that you feel on any given day? What are the top 3? And if of those 3, 2 of them are negative, then you are 70 or 80% in the negative. So you have to overcome that. If I ask any single one of my clients or friends or family, most of their emotional states, most of them are negative. Of the 3, if not all 3 of them are. And if every single one of those emotions carries 33%, and the positive one carries 34%, that's where you're at. And now you understand why your life isn't shifting. If I'm angry, frustrated, and bored, those are all negative. You're 100% in the negative. If one of them is content and one is happy and one is bored, well, then now two of them are negative. Okay? But you're still, majority has to be 70%. Okay? You have to be at 70%. The last one is to be honest with yourself. Now, this can be the hardest thing, and this is all about awareness. Where are you lying to yourself? Oh, I'm just going to watch this for a little bit longer. It's really not that big of a deal. I really don't want that dream that bad. Is that true? Is that a true statement? Becoming honest with yourself is part of the issue. As we lie to ourselves, that's our subconscious mind going, nah, you don't really need that dream, or you're not really going to get that. You're not really smart enough. All those lies take away from you. They take that energy state away from you, and they don't allow you to become your truest self. They keep you limited. They keep you in the barrel with the lid on. They keep you from preventing yourself from getting there. Now, when I first started meditation, I thought it was the silliest thing I've ever heard. I laughed through the whole thing. I got really frustrated, got really pissed off. I'm like, dude, this is not working. I would do it for 8 minutes, 18 minutes, 20 minutes. I'd fall asleep. I'd get up. I'd move around. And I just wasn't successful at it. And then I would say 15 years after I started my practice, now it's not going to take you this long. I had to do a lot of education because I didn't understand what I was supposed to do. And I had to find the book, and the book fell out off the bookshelf right at my feet. And I'm like, oh, apparently this is the book I'm supposed to read. Once I understood what my mind was supposed to do, and that was the big education. That was a big leverage for me. Once I started practicing and I understood what I was doing, then I was really successful. And my emotional state, which was the step one, the emotional state started to balance out. I started to feel good. I started to feel happy. Like I got out of my angry state and I started to feel happy. I'm like, wow, this is kind of an unusual feeling, but I kind of like it. And I would feel happier for longer periods of time. And then I would skip a day. I'm like, okay, I'm still pretty happy. And I got busy. I got back into my environment. I started to what we call fall asleep again. I started to just kind of run on autopilot. 3 days would go by. And all of a sudden, I find myself really reacting hard to my environment. And I'm like, wait. I'm in a really bad mood. Well, I can't meditate from that space. I'm going to have to ride this wave for the day and hope nobody gets hurt. And I'll do it again. And I would climb that ladder. So when you start it, please be consistent. And that's the final step, is please be consistent. The consistency is what is going to continue to elevate you in your hot air balloon. You cut off one sandbag, but you keep it. You have to let it go, right? And you have to keep elevating. But pretty soon, you're just going to hover. And then pretty soon, that hot air balloon, that sandbag is going to come back into. You start falling asleep again. You start running on autopilot. That sandbag is going to come back into the hot air balloon, and you're going to come to a crash landing in the yard. And it's painful. But then if you're aware of that, you can start again. If you're aware of that, you can start again. And that's what happened, is I started to recognize that when I would skip a couple of days, I would have a really hard day. It would all come crashing back to me. I'm like, okay, I got to keep going. I got to keep creating this consistency. And if you are really dealing with some hard emotions, some past pain, some negative self-talk and negative limiting beliefs, it's got to be longer periods of time. So I always tell my clients, if you really want to start this, you want to be an overachiever, I say 5 minutes, 5 times a day. You want to really succeed at this, 5 minutes, 10 times a day. And go for it. Because if I was practicing once a week playing tennis, how long is it going to take me to be an expert? Twice a week is more. What if I practiced 5 minutes for 10 times a day? I'm going to become really good practicing my serve, my return, the scoring, my backhand, my footing, all of those things. I'm going to become really, really good in a short period of time. So that's my suggestion. I started out being consistent. Every single day I would meditate. Every day I would set an intention. Every day I would elevate my emotional state in a positive way to elicit change. And when I did that, I would see physical things start to shift in my life. That's when that would happen. And it happens with consistency. It might be 3 weeks for you, and 8 weeks for somebody else. It might be 3 days for you and 7 months for somebody else. It just depends on where you're at, and it depends on your dedication to it. When you come up to those limiting beliefs, release it. Let them go. Let them go. And if you need help with that, send me an email, themeditationroom@tc.com, and say in the subject, Jen, let's talk. Because I want to know where you're at. I want you to comment in the comment section. I want you to answer the question, your big aha moment, how this is sitting with you. Because when I hear your story and I hear your insight, that helps me and it motivates me to keep going. Because as I keep spreading out this word in the podcast, more people are picking this up. Apple is going, hey, this girl's got some stuff, because this podcast is being shared and these comments are being made, that then now this podcast is spreading and more people are hearing it. And more people are going inward and meditating and attracting their inner power, letting their inner power out and connecting to their divine guidance. So please, if you want to do anything, if you think there's anybody in the world who needs this information, please comment. Send a little bit of insight of how this landed with you, and or share this podcast on your social media. So Apple will go, or Google will say, hey, this podcast is becoming popular. Let's make sure that everybody is finding it. I would love that. And I want to hear your story. So please do that. And if you need some help, you want to deepen this connection, and you want to really learn how to go inward and how to connect to your divine guidance, send me that email and let's chat. Wow, that may have felt like a lot of information in today's episode, but if you're looking for support and a deeper knowledge of what we talked about today, then let's connect. You can learn more about how I work and how you can work with me. Send me an email to the meditationroomtc@gmail.com, subject line, let's talk. And in the meantime, you can join my online Facebook community, Lady Rising, and mention that you came in through the podcast. I look forward to supporting you and connecting with you there.